Hey everyone, Dr. Jason Deitch here, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Life Vision Project. And today we've got, I think, a great conversation to be had. I know I always say that because I actually think they're great conversations with my great friend, Dr. Alex Vidan. Alex, thanks for taking some time to be here with us today and sharing.
Brother, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to brag on you just a little bit for those people that may not yet know you. Not only were you the chiropractor for the St. Louis Cardinals during the World Series years, very important component to add.
That is, yeah.
The cheerleaders for the Rams, and
right.
Many of this. Listen, if you're in St. Louis and you play sports, they're likely your client, regardless of if it's Pee-wee or pro.
Right, right, for sure.
So that is amazing what you've done. And
thank you.
Not being a sports guy myself, what I love about what you're doing, besides being just an awesome guy, is that you've been on the local news, on the Fox News affiliate in your area over 180 times. And that to me is, rock star status. It's not pay to play. It's not, you're not sleeping with the producer. This is a reproducible. No. Maybe you are. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
No, my wife would have.
I'm just kidding.
And as would I.
This is a reproducible system that, in fact, not only are you doing this for yourself, but what I absolutely love so much about you is that you're now sharing your tips and secrets with others. Now, we'll do some other programs talking about that. For today, I just want people to know what you're up to so they know who you are, where you're coming from. Today, we're talking about life vision. And, we've had these conversations. You don't need another job. You don't need more income to, focus on trying to train other chiropractors. Clearly, one of the main things that we connect on is your passion for the principle. If you would, please share, how did you discover what we'll call your life vision and your passion for doing what you do?
For me, I think it was one of those things where I was really blessed in the fact that I got broken down first. And what I mean by that is when I started out in practice, I wasn't rocking it. I wasn't killing it. It wasn't anything like that. I truly feel like that was a great thing and a humbling experience to get broken down. And once I got broken down, I was able to really sit back and look at it and go, all right. And I'm not suggesting that for anybody. I'm not saying, you should get broken down and have that happen. I'm just sharing my experience to show people maybe out there that are in that scenario where maybe you're feeling broken down or maybe you're going through that process and trying to decide, man, maybe this isn't right for me, or I'm not working, or I'm not in the right place. I just want you to know there's still a place for you, and you can still discover whatever it is that's right for you. And so what I did was I clearly remember it. I clearly remember sitting with my wife and sitting together and really thinking to myself, all right, what is it that's really holding me back? What is it that's my obstacle? What is it that's the thing that's in my way? And once I found that, and for me, the big thing was it was fear. And I know that a lot of people can relate to that. And the fact that for me, the biggest thing was fear of failure. And I was so used to succeeding in my life and so used to having these things that now that I was in practice and I wasn't succeeding, it was really a hard place for me. And I say all that just because I know a lot of people are in the same place. I know a lot of people are dealing with that. Maybe they're dealing with it right now for a short time. Maybe it's been years that they've been dealing with that, or decades. But I say that in the place of, I share that with you, and I was in the same place too. Once I was able to recognize that for myself, then I was able to step back and look at it and go, all right, what is it that I truly want? If I'm just going to fail, fine, I'm going to fail faster. I'm just going to do it more, and I'm going to figure it out. And as I do that, then I will be able to then see truly what my vision is. And for me, my vision is I want to serve the masses. I want to serve more and more people. And I felt like for me, I never really truly knew about chiropractic until somebody was just beating me in the head with it to get in to see a chiropractor. And I thought, why don't more people know about this? Why is it that chiropractic is the best kept secret, right? Why is it that it has to be that way? I think that's trash, and that's not the way that it should be. We've got an amazing profession, and what we do is fantastic, and we need to share that message with so many people through social, in our offices, out in public, and being on TV, and whatever it is. We've got to do that so that people understand. Now, that's my vision and my passion and what works for me. You've got to find what works for you, But I love the fact that you're doing these series like this, because it gives people so many different looks at somebody else's perspective to say, I can identify with that, and I can see a way that I can connect with that guy's vision or her purpose or whatever it is, so that they can expand theirs from there.
Do you have a particular process, or did you go through something that maybe others could sort of emulate or model in order to really, I guess, you don't want to say go out and intentionally make your life really difficult for yourself, and then you'll be forced to, because I've been there, done that too, plenty.
Right.
But is there a process or an understanding or something that you can recommend that people do to be able to better hear that inner voice, to be able to, as my mentor Chuck Ridley says, listen to your innate voice? What do you do? What do you recommend?
For me, I recommend truly stepping away from the other things that are the distractions, right? And really just focusing in on what it is that gives you that time and gives you that ability to say, okay, I need to find, for me, it's quiet time. I need to step away from other things and just say, I just need to focus on whatever it is right now. I need to step away. There's a lot of distractions. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on all the time. We're not moving slower. We're moving faster more and more. So your attention gets slowed and it gets distracted so many times. I mean, we're bombarded with messages day in, day out for all kinds of different things. All these different things are vying for our attention, right? I mean, we've got these things here. We've got the computers. We've got all this stuff, and it's always vying for our attention. So we don't give that attention to ourselves. And so I find that for me, the easiest thing for me to do is step away from that, find a place that I can be quiet, find a place that I can introspectively look at myself and say, this is what I need to do. And all of us know in our heart what we need to do. The hard part is whether or not you're going to step up to that challenge and really go all in. And I find that once I've decided I'm going to go all in on this and I'm just going to push and I'm going to go, then that's when good things happen. The less time you need, the more doors that actually open. So the more that you can just start, all right, I know my purpose. I know what works for me. Anything that's outside of that, I don't need to be distracted by that. I need to focus here. So, it doesn't matter if it's, I like sports, but I don't get to watch them because it's not part of my purpose or vision or passion. If it's part of yours, whoever you are out there listening, then that's what, focus on and have some of that time and attention towards that. For me, it's my family, it's God, it's my purpose right here in my practice, my purpose outside in the profession. It's those things for me. So you've got to figure out what that is for you, and be okay with the fact that yours is different than somebody else's, right?
Help me create some context for everybody. I have just a bunch of questions I want to ask you because of really what you've done and what I'm inspired by what you've done.
Thanks, man.
Part of that, the two things that come to mind are, one is you've been patient. You've been doing this for a while. You've been patient with the process. This is not this is not something you dreamed up a few months ago and just said, you know what, I got on TV once, now let me teach everybody, right? You've been doing this for a long time. That's number one. Number two, you surround yourself with other great chiropractors. There's something to, let's talk about sort of the mastermind effect and the patience, IENCE, with the process that you've had to have to get where you are. And the sense of feeling the fear, doing it anyway, and not beating yourself up so much because of maybe what was thought of as failure or struggle or whatever it may be.
Sure.
Share that community aspect.
I'm going to touch on a couple things there because I completely agree with you in the fact that it's the patience. We are not a society anymore that has patience. It's I texted you, why didn't you get back to me? Well, that was 30 seconds ago. It's like that's where we are now. It's like, well, I liked your post. How come you didn't like mine and comment on mine? I put that up there, and it's been 4 minutes now, and it's all those things, and we're so like this that patience is not really part of our construct anymore, or even part of the dialogue. And it really does. I'll speak to one other thing that you mentioned there too. I don't get pissed off by many things, but I do get incredibly pissed off by the idea of people that go with the thing of saying, I did it one time, so that means that's it. Right? I've got it all figured out. I look at it as, say, I've done it 180 times and I'm still looking to do better, And so that's where it comes to those people that you're talking about. I surround myself with people that like you and like so many people that you have on this whole life vision program that you're doing. There's amazing people, and there's so much to learn. And so any chance that I get to be around them or be around anybody, even somebody that maybe isn't playing at the same level that I am at, but playing at a different level, there's things for me to learn from them. We all have a story to share, and we all have lessons that we've learned. We just need to be open into sharing those and open into hearing those other stories and those other messages. But I find that the real way that truly happens, so that you can truly dive into it and really get the meat out of it, is by being there one-on-one, right? And being there and connecting with somebody. So whether or not it's a cup of coffee, or it's at the seminar, and it's afterwards at the bar, or it's at lunch, or whatever it is, I like all those things because it gives me a chance to just be around other like-minded people. And I find a lot of times too that people are timid or afraid to go up to other people that are doing it, right? That they're hesitant to say, and they look at them and they go, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so over there. Oh wow, I heard his thing, or I heard her thing, and she's a rock star at that. And they'll wait and they hesitate and they step back. The honest to God truth is that every one of those people that you look at like that are wanting to pull you into that area too. Like they want to see you succeed, and they're the most giving, most willing to help you because they know the struggles. They know how hard it is. They know what it's like to go to bed at 2 and wake up at 4 and then be right back at it again, right? They know what it's like to sleep on the tables at the office because you're up late working and you got to be up doing the other thing in the morning and just putting in the time. And those are the people that I want to be around, that are willing to say, hey man, let me help you out. Hey, let me at least talk to you about this. I'm not the one to talk to you about that, but she over there, she's a rock star. She can talk to you about that. Let me introduce you. Those people are so willing to help. Why wouldn't you want to connect with them? Why wouldn't you want to be around them? I want to. Yeah. I love it. And it feeds me, it fuels me. If you can't tell, I get a little passionate about that.
No, I'm with you loud and clear. I completely agree. And you're being humble in that, you know, you're and this is the paradox is those that tend to be the smartest and most successful tend to maintain that curiosity and I want to learn more attitude. However, the other fact of the matter is you are there also, as you said, to contribute and give back to others. So even for those that sort of get stuck in, well, I've been to seminars before, I've been doing this for a lot of years, I don't need to make more money, I'm doing just fine, everything's on cruise control. You know, there's a conversation around, okay, it's time to give back because you actually have a lot of knowledge and experience to make yourself available to those people that you can, you know, change lots of other chiropractors' lives so they can go back into their community and change lots of people in their community's lives. So I wholeheartedly agree. Some of the best experiences at most of these events that I see you at on a regular basis is that shoulder-to-shoulder, just more personal hangout time, as much as it is from what you see on stage. For sure. The other, I get. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say I get so much from hearing the people on stage, as well as whenever we're, like you said, shoulder to shoulder, hanging out with people and just kind of connecting and finding out, like, well, what is it? Oh, that's an interesting concept. I've never even thought of that before. What do you have to say about that? I'm always constantly looking for that next little nugget, right? That next little piece of gold, that next little thing that's going to be the thing that I can take back for me personally, or back to my practice, or back to my patients, or back to just other people that I care about, and share that information and share content and share knowledge. Because that's what it's all about. It's about sharing all that. We are in an age right now where there's so much access to so much knowledge that it's this huge, massive volume of all of this. And to be able to chunk it down to where you can actually use it makes a big difference. So if I can get one little nugget at a time, then I find that works out really well for me. And rubbing shoulder to shoulder with people is what I'm all about.
I want to go back to, we were talking a little bit earlier, speaking about your life vision, speaking about fear, and, you know, there's something that must have spoken to you internally to say, I'm going to get on the news. I don't know how I'm going to get on the news. I don't know. There's no course I can take. There's no coach I can hire.
No.
I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. But that's what I'm going to do. And that's the voice that I think lots of people have. You said that either don't hear it or they hear the nudge, but they keep going, yeah, shut up. I'm busy. I'm working. No, I can't. And they have all the excuses. Maybe
Right.
elaborate a little bit as to your experience with, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I have to.
Right. The one of the things that you touched on right there was that I'm busy. Everybody's busy. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is busy. The difference is production. Like, what are you doing that's actually producing? Because you can be busy getting used by Facebook, right? You can get busy getting used by any type of social or anything online, or shoot, YouTube's great at that. You click on one video and another 20 come up and you're like, holy cat, is that a cat? Oh, look how cute. Oh my gosh, right? It's like, and so all those things start to happen. And again, they're all the distractions. And so when you're sitting there and you're looking at yourself and you're looking at introspectively, look at it and determine, am I getting used by this or am I using this? And that's just a change and a flip in your paradigm and in your construct and in how it is that you're thinking, your thought process, and going, am I using this or am I getting used by this? If you can look at it and answer that one question, then you've got it. You know, you can figure out, all right, this is either busy work or this is something that's producing for me. And I only want to focus on the things that are producing for me so that I can then take that and use it for myself and for other people to then spread that message and help others. So that's one of the things that I have to put myself in check with a lot of times and just make sure, because I have, ADD, right? So it's easy for me to get distracted and see like all the little things and all that and whatever it is. So that's one of those things that I look at a lot of times for me to say, is this really, that's my home, that's my base. And so I can look at it from that perspective and move forward from there. So hopefully that helps, that tidbit.
Yeah,
helps
but I also want to go to just that process of ideation, or that time. I don't know if it was a dream you had or just a moment where you go,
yeah,
I'm going to be the TV chiropractor. That's right. And so you had at some point the idea.
I did.
And so maybe if you can speak to, when did that happen? And then what was the process? Did you pick up the phone immediately and just go, okay? Was there a back and forth?
Sure.
I can, but I'm busy. But right, what's the process of pulling out that dream?
Right. So my process was this: is that I knew that we had something amazing in chiropractic, and I wanted more and more people to know about it. At that time, I wasn't as instant action oriented as I am now, to where I'll say, all right, there's only so many hours in the day, so I'm going to chunk down my priorities of saying these are the things that I must get done. These are the things that I would like to get done in my list that I have there. At that time, it was, well, let me research, let me find out more, and then I'm going to find out a little bit more, and then I'm going to get ready to get ready, and then I'm getting ready to get ready to get ready in order to, and then I'm going to think about how it is, well, exactly when they say this, then right? And so that paralysis that happens in there. Now it's just, no, forget it. Pick up the phone, make the call, shoot the email, whatever it is, and just do it. So at that time, I just kept on poking and prodding and shooting, and that is not something that I recommend for people, because you can do it the wrong way. And I did it the wrong way over and over, and it wasn't until they switched producers that I had finally realized, because I already burned that bridge. I had already burned the bridge with not just this station, with lots of other ones, not even realizing I had done it, because they were my mistakes. And you learn from those mistakes. And I realized, I shouldn't do that. Now, I won't do that on the next one. And so it wasn't until they switched producers, and then I thought, ooh, now's my chance, right? Like I gave it another shot, and I got it right. And then I started developing and tweaking and looking at it and getting over that fear, like you said, of what if they, and what if I'm not, and what if I can't, and what if they don't, right? All those little things, those little chatter that you get in the back of your head, that you just got to shut them up and tell them to stop, because they're not worth it. Your inner voice is really the one that matters. That's the one that you want to focus on. So that's what I started doing. I started focusing on that more and more, and focusing on what it is that was really important, and to stay diligent to what it is that I wanted. And I wanted to get the chiropractic message here in St. Louis out to the community. Once I did that, it started really making huge changes in the practice, and an impact here within chiropractic as well. Because I get a lot of docs that, because I don't just go on and say, come to my practice, I go on and I say, go find a chiropractor that does this. And I get people that contact me and say, do you specialize in this? No, I don't, but I got a guy down the street that does, so why don't you go over there? And that's what we need more of. We need more of that cohesive working together. And when you're rubbing shoulder to shoulder with people, it's easier to refer people to other people and make that connection.
What I want to acknowledge you for, and I hope viewers are picking up on this, is you call them mistakes. I don't call them mistakes. I do call them learning experiences.
Yes, that's a better frame of reference.
Because your attitude going into this was not, well, let me try this TV thing and see if I get a few new patients, if it's worth it for me.
Right.
And, so I'll try it. I'll make a few calls. If I get enough of a return, I'll keep with it. If not, I'll try something else.
Right.
Okay. I'm guessing, you can confirm or deny, you would have never gotten on television if you were trying to see if it worked to get more new patients. You came at it from your purpose. You're like, I'm getting on TV. That's.
Yep.
I may not be able to tell you why. I just know that's what I'm going to do. Why?
Yep.
Because you're listening to your voice, and
Yep.
you weren't going to give up. It was just a matter of, okay, I'll try this.
Right.
Well, okay, I learned from that one. Now let me try a better job doing it that way.
Yeah.
And that's called learning. We're not born into the world as adults, right, with everything figured out. And that's the magic I just want to acknowledge you for, is anybody who's creating something new on the frontier, on the forefront, typically isn't just kind of dabbling and hoping. They are committed to making that happen, and for usually something bigger than the return.
For sure.
So for that, I give you massive kudos, and I admire people who know that, do that, and stick with it to the degree that you have.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's bring this up in another case, because if that wasn't clear enough as it is, you've also really become an expert in the category of TMJD. That you as a chiropractor, which is easy to go, like most of the profession, I'm a chiropractor, I provide chiropractic care. If you need chiropractic, I provide it. That's what I do.
Right.
You have learned through advanced marketing and communication skills that being specific and speaking to specific audiences about specific topics that are relevant to them is really one of the magic keys to getting people interested in learning more about whatever it is that you're doing. So talk a little bit about your, how that evolved for you and why that topic and how you've differentiated yourself in so many ways, and again, teach others how to do that.
Yeah, so I had problems with my TMJ, and no one could ever help it. So I started looking at what other people were doing. I actually looked at 3 other providers that were in St. Louis here to help me, and they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't put it together. So I started taking bits and pieces of what they were doing, and then I started talking to dentists, orthodontists, oral surgeons, and really sitting down with them to determine their perspective on that and how it is that the temporomandibular joint really functions and works, and the dysfunction that can happen due to a multitude of different things. Once I deciphered that, I was able to help myself. Once I could help myself, so again, I was not just going to try. I was going to make sure that I could get the results that I wanted, because I had to fix myself, right? I had to fix this. Once I did that, then I knew, this is something that I'd like to help other people with. At that time, I didn't realize how big of a market it is. Now, for those of you that don't know, temporomandibular joint dysfunction is the second largest musculoskeletal disorder that there is. And number 1 is low back pain. Number 2 is temporomandibular joint dysfunction. The sad thing about it is that a lot of these people are just left out in a situation where it's, well, when it gets bad enough for surgery, let us know, and then we'll go from there. And so they're suffering and hurting for a really long time, and it's a chronic condition. So I started looking at it from the perspective, well, let's help these people. A lot of people don't want to get cut on, and they don't want to deal with this, but they're suffering so badly that they'll go through 1, 2, 3, 4 surgeries, 5 surgeries, and still not get the results that they want. Then we start providing the services that we can and the structured outline of and the protocols that we have, and docs are seeing it no matter if it's here in the U.S. or over in Europe or wherever. They're seeing that it's working. So as we're seeing that protocol happen and we're seeing the process take place, focusing on what seems like a small niche is actually a massive market. And it's a lot of people that want the help, and they're ready, and they pay cash, and they're ready to do it because nothing else has worked. So
and for those critics, cynics, or chiropractors that may have difficulty with this, what percentage of them now come to your office? They came in with that particular question and now stick around because in time, because you're on the news and because you do what you do, they now get the what I'll call the chiropractic lifestyle.
Yeah, and I will say that's it, right? That's just the avenue that gets them in the door. And I do want to stress that they all get adjusted. If they're here in my office, they're getting adjusted. I love adjusting. This is just the thing that gets them in the door and allows them then to experience a greater outlet of their health and their ability to function the way that they should be. Yeah. And that's through chiropractic care. They don't say, oh, it's the Vidan specific technique that got me. They go, it's chiropractic that fixed me. That's what it is. They say that's what it is that fixed me. And they give the credit to the chiropractor. I want that for more of us across the board, that we can have more of that and have more of those wins, because these people are like chiro warriors because no one else has helped them. And I think that, hey, if you're willing to help that population, you're going to really be successful because there's a lot of people that need it.
So there's a couple things to point out here I find significant. And one of them is that you really use TMJD as what I would refer to as a body signal that something's not right. It's not that you're all of a sudden now teaching a new treatment for TMJD, and like you said, you call it something different. It's chiropractic care, but you're speaking to people in a way that they're listening, because that's the voice in their head. I mean, I guess literally, right?
Yeah.
So that's the body signal that they're listening for to look for help, to meet a chiropractor, to introduce them to the big idea. Mm-hmm. But the other thing I think, you and I have talked about this in a variety of ways that I just want to sort of hopefully emphasize and make abundantly clear. You've now laid out, between media and television, TMJD, a voice in your head, a experience in your life that you could have just ignored and moved on. And yet, instead of going, well, oh my goodness, I can't believe I have this health concern, what a tragedy, what a mess, you've developed a perspective and attitude, I think, that is completely congruent with the idea that there's a universal intelligence in all matter and so on, that these things didn't happen to you, they happened for you.
Absolutely.
And that your attitude was not, oh, this is what a disaster. Your attitude was very much, okay, where's the gift here? What do I need to learn? How do I make a difference here so that I can fulfill my mission, my life vision, and so on? Maybe speak to that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's never in your way, it's on your way, right? And I love that. I love that quote. It's never in your way, it's on your way. And it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. So there's a lesson that's in there for us to figure out. It's up to us. Otherwise, the great thing is we get the chance to figure out that lesson again. It's going to keep happening because you're going to figure out that lesson, right? If I keep touching the stove and it's hot, it's like sooner or later I better figure out that thing is hot. I better not touch that anymore, right? And so it's the same thing holds true in the rest of our life. So let's figure out the lesson, learn it, and then move forward from there, and then share that with others. So for me, that's exactly the way that it was. I was passionate about ensuring that my vision in my heart, that I was being true to that, and I was being authentic to me, and that I was using what's inside of me and the lessons that I learned to then speak to someone else and speak to them in a language that made sense to them, right? So you mentioned about this different languaging, and that's really key because there's key terms that are going to mean something to us as a chiropractor and to a medical doctor or to a oral care provider or to the lay public that speaks to them or it doesn't resonate with them. And when it doesn't resonate with them, we get this bang of the heads. And when we have that, then we're resistant, right? I mean, think about anybody that you connect with and you're connecting with them and you say, I don't know why it is, but I like him or I like her. I feel like I resonated with them. And it's because usually they're using some type of language that makes sense to you and identifies with who you are and where you're at that specific time. So the more that we can do that and we can speak to somebody in their language, use their language to build a bridge to then bring them over to understanding what then the bigger concept of chiropractic is, that's just cracking open the door, right? That language just cracks open the door so that we can show them, hey, it's not actually just a little doorway. It's actually this whole vast chasm of information that you can find out and you can be introduced to just through this little engagement. But you have to take it step by step by step and meet them where they are. If you don't meet them where they are, then you're just pounding on them. And we in chiropractic, and I was guilty of this too a lot of times, and I hope that I'm not as guilty anymore. But, just preaching the message of chiropractic, and I'm just like pounding people in their head. I feel that there's a time and a place for that. But when I first meet somebody, I feel like let me meet them where they are first and then bring them along the journey so that they can understand this amazing thing that chiropractic has to offer and this amazing gift that's been given to all of us. And we are blessed to really get to share. But we got to meet them where they are first, and bridge that.
Unfortunately, we've got to just be respectful of time and so on. But
sure.
but I just really have to acknowledge you for that because the proof is in the pudding. You not only yourself, because of your personal relationships, have, I'll say, cracked the code. I mean, the fact that you've gotten invited on TV for so many years, so many times, without having to pay for it, but because of the value you bring, clearly speaks to the fact that you know how to translate, how to speak in terms of value to your audience that then gets them to want to be curious to learn more about your message. It's what I think of as sort of the difference between being right and being effective. And
yes.
We're addicted to being right. Chiropractic is great. Subluxations kill. Adjustments heal. We're right.
Right.
But I'm guessing you didn't pitch that message to your TV producer 180 times so that you could repeat the same thing over and over again. That there was an art to communicating in terms of people's values, and for that, I think it's I don't know if you call it an innovation or just the example. I think we all need to learn from in order to be able to be more effective at getting this message out to the masses. The proof is in the results you're getting, and I point out you're able to teach that to other people, which just sort of I think proves the principle, not just you're lucky, you're a one-hit wonder, you're good looking, articulate, the whole deal. You're helping people do this across the country, and for that I just need to acknowledge you big time for that. So
thank you, my friend.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up. I'm going to give you final comments. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Life Vision. Listen, you and I know a lot, but the magic happens when you and I get together in Atlanta, have a good time, connect with our other brothers and so on, and we go from there. So I'll give you final closing comments as my son keeps trying to get me to buy an app for him.
I love that. That's persistence.
This is it. You're watching it in action.
Right? That's true life.
Oh, goodness.
That's real. I love it. So,
closing comments.
Yeah. I mean, the closing comment is just that is look, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. We oftentimes like to do that. And why do that to yourself in whatever capacity it is, whether or not it's social, whether or not it's in practice, whether or not it's getting on TV or working TMJD or whatever it is. Learn from other people's mistakes. That's where the secrets are. And the secrets are in that so that you can then master something. Once you have it mastered, then you can unlock those secrets and determine, all right, this is the way that I can use these secrets in order to not just benefit me, but benefit humanity or my community and my family and all those aspects. And so get to Life Vision. That's really simple. It's a simple message. It's get there to find that out, to figure out who are those people that you can connect with. I can tell you right now, I've said yes so many times to going to seminars whenever I didn't have the time for it, and I didn't have, the money for it whenever I wasn't there, and I didn't have the opportunity for it, but I committed to it. And because of the fact that I committed to those things and I said yes, not knowing what was going to happen, right? Not knowing who was going to show up or what was going to be there, but I was faithful to the fact that if I put myself out there, I realize that better things can happen. And if I don't put myself out there, then I'm going to be limited in my opportunities as to what can happen in my life. So I'm willing to continually put myself out there and have those learning experiences, right? Because I know that I can learn from that experience and take that. I've learned so much more from my failures than I have from my successes and wins that I'm hoping for that next time that I get to say, and that sounds really weird, but I'm hoping for that next time that I get to say, I really learned a lot on that lesson right there. Right? It's like, I learned so much. And that seems like an odd thing to say, but it's true. So commit to yourself. And a big part of that commitment is by being with people that are doing it and want to see you succeed in that as well. You might not get that from your family, you might not get that from your friends, you might not even get that from the other chiros in your community, but you go to an event like Life Vision and you're going to get that because it's so many people that are there in one room that are all doing it and want to see other people doing it that, I don't know, why wouldn't you go?
Right on.
It's a no-brainer.
Alex, thanks for being such a great friend. Thanks for being a rock star for our profession. Thank all of you for watching another edition of the Life Vision.